All right guys, we're outside. It's a little bit rainy today, but I am determined to get this video done for you guys so that you can get going and be profitable from day one. Remember, this is all about profit, 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 starting for $200. So we've got some basic equipment here. I'm gonna show you how to do a detail with the equipment that we discussed earlier, with the products we discussed earlier. Let's jump into it. Okay guys, so we've got the basic equipment here, the basic products. So we've got our microfiber towels. These are the Kirkland ones, whole pack right here. You're only really gonna need one pack starting out. I believe, yep, 36 towels in there. So you want to be conservative, I guess is the use with your towel use if you're gonna get only one pack, but you can do it. Then we have our brushes right here. Okay, it's a good kit to have right here. You've got a lot of variety. You've got a more aggressive, a medium, and a really soft bristle one. That's why I chose this kit for you, because it's a great value and it comes with everything you need. Our 3 buckets, these ones look a little bit dirty. I know I don't use these ones anymore. These are actually the ones that I started my detailing business with. Now we've switched to a little bit higher end collapsible buckets that save space in the detail mobile. But anyways, all you need is some basic buckets, your water hose, and your spray nozzle. Okay, so that's what we're gonna use out here. Now for products, I'm gonna grab it real quick. We're gonna be using some car wash. Now you're obviously not gonna have a gallon. You're gonna have the gold class car wash in a smaller size, but that's what I have as a gallon. It's gonna be the same principle either way. So let's jump into it. So we're gonna start off, we're gonna put a microfiber in the wheel bucket and we're gonna fill it up. Okay, so I'm not gonna make you watch the whole time I fill this up anyways, but we wanna fill the buckets up about 3/4, if not a little more than that, okay? So fill the buckets up 3/4, if not a little more than that. You're gonna wanna put a little bit of soap in there. Doesn't take a whole lot. At this point in the game, I just eyeball it. When you get a little further along, you can put a pump on your soap that dispenses exact amounts. That's what we do now. But when you're starting out, obviously you don't have the money to do that. Then you're gonna take it, and fill that bucket up 3/4 of the way as well. Okay guys, now that we're zoomed in, we're gonna start out with our spray nozzle. Now I either like it on jet or actually flat, okay? So jet might be good, but you're gonna get a lot of spray back, so I put it on flat. We're gonna rinse down that wheel, make sure to get up in that barrel. Right now, because you've started with such a low cost, you don't have a barrel brush, so you're not gonna be focusing on cleaning that, but we can go ahead and spray it out, spray out that wheel well. Okay, now we're ready to put on some of the all-purpose cleaner. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this all-purpose, get some good coverage on here. Bada bing, bada boom. We're gonna start out with our microfiber, okay? So we're gonna take that microfiber, we're gonna scrub down this wheel, or the tire, excuse me. Okay, once we've got that scrubbed down, obviously it's best to do that with a brush, but we're trying to keep costs minimal here. And if I threw everything in, you would just turn into a regular old startup of thousands of dollars. That's not what we're going for. We're gonna get our hand in all of these things, working around the wheel, okay? If you feel like you find yourself getting lost when you're cleaning the wheel, focus on this right here first, okay? Start where you got your air stem, work around, and then you'll know when to stop, okay? Don't skip any pegs, don't jump around. If you're like me, you like to jump around to things, don't do that. Stay focused on one area at a time. Try to keep this cloth off the ground if you can. When you notice it starting to get real dirty, we can go ahead and we can take it and rinse it in the bucket. Okay, give it a dunk in that bucket right there. Wring it out. We're back to it. Wiping down this wheel. Okay, get around here on the face, up in these things. All right. And then we're actually gonna take one of those detailing brushes. Now we're gonna take the medium detail brush. Let me go get it and I'll show you. So you're gonna want this detail brush right here, okay? It's the gray kind of brownish one. We're just gonna dip that in and then touch around or kind of get the brush down in there. Not super, you don't have to jam it, but just kind of get it down in there, wiggle it around a little bit to get the dirt out, okay? So I'm gonna use a brush that I actually have set aside for wheels already, but this is the one you'll use from this kit. So I take my brush, dunk it down in that water. Now again, if you need a little bit more spray, you can spray it on the wheel or right into the end of your brush right there. Get it down in there, all around those areas that you couldn't reach with that microfiber, okay? This is gonna give it that detailed look where you're getting in there, getting the places that they don't normally get at the car wash, and sets you apart from the car wash. Now we just rinse it off. Make sure to get all that all-purpose cleaner out of there. All right, and that's good, okay? You're gonna complete this on every single wheel of the car, and then we're gonna move on to the next step, which is washing the body. So I'm gonna zoom out and we're gonna get to that now. All right, guys, when it comes to washing the paint, we're first gonna start out rinsing the car. Now I like to have it on that flat mode again, like this, and that way I can push the water down the panel, okay? So I'm gonna show you guys how I do it. I just rinse down the whole car. This is so that we get all the dirt off prior to washing. If there's a bunch of big pieces of dirt on there, we scrub them in. We're gonna scratch the car. We're not gonna make that $200 we were hoping to make, okay? We're probably gonna be paying for some paint correction. But if we go ahead and we rinse it off real good, this is an important step, then we don't have to worry about that as much, okay? So I'm gonna start top to bottom, always top to bottom, pushing the water off the panel. And we repeat this process all around the whole car, okay guys? Once we're done rinsing, I'm gonna show you how we wash the vehicle, okay? So now we're gonna take our two buckets. We have our soap bucket here and our rinse bucket here, okay? Soapy water and fresh water. We're gonna put those there, okay? And then we need our microfiber. We're gonna place that in the soap bucket, okay? Give it a shake down in there. And we're gonna start, again, top to bottom working on this car, okay? So I'm gonna start folding it in half, like this. You're gonna fold it in half again. We're gonna work with about that size, okay? I don't know if you can see that, but it's about that size. Enough to fit in your hand. And you're going from top to bottom, never in circles, long straight lines, okay? Circles create scratches that can be seen from any angle. So if it was to scratch for some reason, we want it to be in a line, okay? Much easier to fix that way as well. Long straight lines going over the windows, and we're working our way down the body panel. Now when I get to about this point, or when I feel like it might have a little bit of dirt in the microfiber, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna dunk it down in my rinse water, shake it around down in there, okay? I'm going to switch to this side now, okay? I'm gonna use this side now. Dunk it in the soap, and then I'm gonna keep working. Going top to bottom still. And if you're wondering why we go top to bottom, it's because that is the dirtiest part of the car, okay? The dirtiest part of the car is at the bottom, so we don't wanna wipe the bottom, bring that dirt to the top. We wanna start at the top where it's less dirty, work our way to the bottom, okay? So we're doing that, get everything clean. We're working our way down. I'm gonna hit this door panel here. All right. Now once I get this panel done, maybe this panel right here, I'm gonna dunk it down in that rinse water again, okay? Once I dunk it in the rinse, I'm gonna flip to a clean side again. I'm gonna dunk it in the soap. I'm gonna move on to that back door panel. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna complete that process around the whole car, and then we're gonna move into our rinse, and I'm gonna show you how we do that. So we have our flat angle on again right here on the sprayer, okay? I'm gonna spray my hands off a little bit. we're gonna push the soap off the car with the flat angle, pushing the soap off. And again, we wanna start at the top of the car here because it's a faster way to rinse if the soap can start, or if you can start pushing the soap off the top and you don't have to rinse the bottom again. So we're rinsing it down. All right, guys, once we have it rinsed down, we're now gonna wanna dry the vehicle. Now, the great thing about the wax that I have put on this list, or on the list that we mentioned earlier, is that it is a wax and dry, okay? It's a quality wax, but it's a wax and dry, so it's gonna save you time. It's easy to apply, it's easy to learn, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. So go ahead and grab one of your yellow microfibers, and then we're going to spray and dry it. I'll show you how. All right, guys, now it's time to dry the car down. So we have our wax here. My bottle looks a little bit different because I use Pro sizes, and this is actually a different wax than the one that's on yours, but it's going to be used the same way. So just follow along with me. I also have my microfiber. We're gonna give the wax a shake and make sure that it's on mist. And then we're simply going to use a little bit of the wax, spraying it over the panel. Now you don't want a lot of this because it has spreading agents and it'll get kind of streaky if you spray too much. So good long sprays covering the vehicle, okay? Once you have a panel or two covered, take your microfiber, you start to dry it down, okay? Now with these smaller microfibers, it is gonna take a little bit of time to dry the vehicle. You're gonna have to work fast if it's in the sun. You'll probably want a buddy, if you have a buddy that's starting this business with you. One person can keep the car wet, the other one can dry it down, okay? So keep one side wet while you're drying the other side if you can. If not, just work fast. But we're just gonna wipe it down and dry it, okay? And that wax is gonna apply as we're drying the vehicle, so we don't really have to work super hard to get the wax on there like we might with the old school paste wax, all right? Once you've got the vehicle completely dried, we're gonna move on to windows. Okay, so what I've noticed here is the best way to do this is go ahead, spray your glass cleaner on, a good long spray, you don't want a lot. Wipe it like this. Make sure you're getting around the edges, okay? You wanna get them good and clean, and then flip it to the dry side and buff off the excess there, and you're gonna have a streak-free window, okay? Now guys, that will conclude the exterior portion of your detail here. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the interior and show you how to get that done with the tools and products that I've selected for this $200 detail business. Again, this is all about profit, guys. Let's move on to the interior. It's raining a little bit, but we're gonna keep going. Let's jump in there. All right, guys, now we're gonna start out with the door jamb right here. That is your painted area when you open up the door that's exposed right here, and then you're also going to see along the bottom of the door right here, all along here, as well as the backside right there of the actual door, anywhere that's got paint on it. And we're going to be using our exterior detailer. Now yours is going to come in a red bottle. This is just in a regular Zep bottle because I use Pro sizes. But yours is going to come in that red bottle. It might say quick detailer on it, I believe. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna simply take our microfiber, the detailer, we're gonna spray a little bit of that in the door jamb, like so. You wanna get a decent amount on there, especially when they're dirty like these ones are. Then we're just gonna wipe it down, okay? Okay guys, now we're gonna talk about cleaning the plastic, rubber, vinyl, switches, leather, everything like that. And we're gonna be using our all-purpose cleaner. That's what you bought in the gallon. You're gonna wanna make sure it's diluted properly. And then our 3 detail brushes. We've got our soft one, our medium grade, and our aggressive detail brush. And of course, a microfiber, okay? So there's a few ways we can go about doing this. The first way, if the car is pretty clean already, not super dirty, we can take it, spray a little bit of the all-purpose cleaner onto our microfiber, simply wipe down the surface. Give it a good scrub. Like so, okay? If it's a little bit dirty, you're gonna notice that these areas right here where the armrest is are gonna get a little bit dirtier. They're gonna build up oils from people resting their arm there. You can take one of your brushes. I'm gonna recommend for this particular area a medium grade brush, but you're gonna have to make that decision. Shinier plastics need softer brushes. These textured plastics and vinyl and rubber, you can use probably the medium grade. Things like cup holders, sometimes you use the aggressive brush. So I'm gonna use the medium grade one here. What I'm gonna do is put a spray of the all-purpose cleaner, maybe 2, into the brush. And then we're just gonna hold it like you would maybe a pencil or a pen and dance it along the surface, okay? Not completely collapsing those bristles, but just getting it nice and clean. You can run it up against those cracks and crevices right there. Okay, like so. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on these switches. Now I don't want a lot of cleaner in there, so I made sure to hit this area first. Now we're gonna go to the switches. I'm gonna scrub those back and forth on that crack up against there. And make sure you dry all of the cleaner off. Get it nice and dried out. Now, for the really dirty areas, like say in this door handle right here where stuff gets set, things might get spilt, there's crumbs, nastiness. You want to vacuum it out first. We've already done that in this vehicle. But you're also going to want to use your more aggressive brush most likely, and of course your all-purpose cleaner. Now when something is super dirty, you can go ahead, give it a spray directly on the surface, maybe a couple sprays in the brush. We're gonna do the same thing, get that brush down in there, work it around, scrub, scrub, scrub. Once we feel like we've scrubbed sufficiently, take that microfiber, and I'm not gonna keep it folded this time. I'm gonna keep my hand like this, tuck it down in there, and wipe out all of the cleaner. Now when cleaning, you wanna make sure to get behind things like this, lift them up, scrub back in there, wipe it out. We're gonna complete this process for all of the plastic, rubber, vinyl, and leather. Yes, you can use these brushes on the leather as well. I would recommend the medium aggression brush, but that's also gonna be based on the leather. If it's a really soft leather, use a softer brush. We're gonna do the same thing on the interior. I'll zoom you in here and show you a little bit how I handle different areas like the steering wheel, and then we'll move on to the next step. Now on the steering wheel, we have a few different types of plastics. We have our textured kind of rubber here, got our shiny plastic here, some matte plastic here, textured plastic here, and then we've got a little bit of some what looks like metal but is actually just plastic right here. How we're gonna handle this is we're going to use a brush on these textured plastics to get down in the texture. I'm gonna use my medium grade. I'm gonna take a little bit of the spray, all purpose, spray it down in there. I'm gonna hold my towel behind it, the steering wheel, and I'm gonna go along this steering wheel, trying to keep this brush off of those shiny black plastics. We're gonna clean it like that. Wipe it down. Looks nice and clean, okay? Once we've cleaned this part right here, we can move to the shiny plastics. Now for the shiny plastics, I'm gonna show you a trick, okay? If you have to use a brush, always use this soft bristle brush, okay? These are the easiest to scratch. So if you have to use a brush, brush it with this, dust it off, whatever you need to do. But then we're actually gonna use the exterior detailer or the quick detailer from earlier that comes in that red bottle. We're gonna spray a little bit of it onto your microfiber. Give it a wipe. And then we're actually gonna flip to a dry side. Wipe that down. And this is gonna give it a streak-free shine. If you use the all-purpose on there, it's gonna be really hard to get clean. It's gonna streak up. Same with this metal looking stuff down here. Gonna wipe it down with the exterior quick detailer. Dry it down. Beautiful. Okay guys, so we got that dry. It's looking streak free, that's perfect. Now we're gonna move to this interior part right here where we're gonna use some more all-purpose on the brush. Scrub, scrub, scrub. Might have to go back and touch up that shiny plastic afterwards, that's okay. Wipe that down. If we need to scrub the buttons in the vehicle with this, we can. Trying to keep it off those shiny plastics as much as possible. Reduce the risk of scratching. Gonna wipe it down. Looking good. And we're gonna complete this process for the dash, all of this area right here. If it can be wiped down with just a microfiber, we can do that. If it needs a brush, pick the right brush, scrub it, clean it up. We followed the same process for the cup holders that we did for the door hold over there. Spray a little bit down in there if they're really dirty, scrub them out, wipe them out, and get down in those areas. Vents, places like this, you can scrub them like so. Fold your microfiber into the corner right here. Kind of get it up in there. You don't want to press too hard because we don't want to break these. They're delicate. And wipe it off, removing the dirt from that. So the first thing we want to do when we start vacuuming is make sure that seat is scooted all the way back, okay? We want to expose all the area that we can. Once we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and remove the mat, trying to keep as much of the dirt on there as possible, and we're going to set that to the side. Then we're going to turn on our vacuum. We're going to be using this attachment first right here. So this is the one that comes with the vacuum. If you can get a better crevice tool, if you can afford it, get one. If not, we're going to make it work with this today. We're just going to start. We're going to work in a pattern. So we're going to go like so, across right here. Kind of start on the outsides is what I like to do. Working the vacuum back and forth on there. Now to vacuum the seat, what we're gonna do is the same attachment, but we're gonna be pretty soft because we don't want to damage this fabric that can sometimes be delicate, especially on older cars. Now with this, we want to be careful about these logos right here, okay? Those can get kind of dangerous when we're running that vacuum over it. They'll kind of come up a little bit if we're not careful. So we're going to start the vacuum up. Now we see that the mat is still a little bit discolored. There's some stains. That's where our all-purpose cleaner is going to come in, and a microfiber. So we're going to go ahead, take that, get it on a good mist setting. Get some good coverage on here. So we've got a good amount of that in there. I might work it into the fibers a little bit. I'm gonna get a good amount on this area right here because I noticed there was a stain. Okay, wonderful. Then I'm gonna take my microfiber. I'm gonna start to scrub. Now, obviously, this is not the best way to clean carpets, but when you're starting on a budget, it's gonna get the job done. It's gonna get you started until you can afford steamer, an extractor, whatever else that you might want or need. But you can see how much better that carpet's looking already. Now we're gonna take it, we're gonna follow it up with the vacuum again. Now guys, the last portion we have is interior glass. Now I'm gonna show you on the windshield because this is the hardest part to do, but you're gonna apply this to all of the interior glass around the whole vehicle. So you're gonna start out by spraying a little bit of the spray on your microfiber, just like so. Okay, once you've got it on there, you're gonna wipe top to bottom real quick. If you need to do a little bit at a time so it doesn't dry, you can. Flip it to a dry side and wipe off. Now when we have mirrors, we're gonna hit those just like so, same way you do the glass. Now with screens, we wanna start with the dry side of the microfiber. We wanna try to avoid putting any cleaner on there. Now if there's something on there that doesn't seem to wanna come off, you can use lightly a little bit of the cleaner side, followed by the dry side to buff that off. Similar thing with the gauge cluster here. We're gonna wipe it lightly with the wet side, followed by the dry side. Now if the gauge cluster is a screen, you wanna be very delicate on it and follow the same process you would for the screen here. We're gonna complete that all around the car. Don't forget about your mirrors in your visors. All right guys, that wraps up the $200 business detail, how to do the interior and exterior with just those products and tools. Be profitable from day one. If you haven't already, go ahead and click the link in the description. That's gonna take you to my website where you can download that free spreadsheet that shows you where to order all the products. If you didn't see the video prior to this one, go ahead and go back in the playlist, find that video. It's gonna show you what the spreadsheet is, what products and tools you need, and how to use that spreadsheet. The next video is gonna show you how to do your marketing, and then the next video after that is how to set up your systems for booking and organizing, as well as how to get a free phone number. So stay tuned in for that. I'm gonna show you how to get a free business phone number. You're never gonna pay for it ever again. I still use mine in my business today, guys. Go ahead and like and subscribe so you get the notification whenever more videos come out. I'm gonna keep showing you how to scale your business, grow your business from this $200 startup to something where you can have employees, it's systemized, it's working for itself. Again, click that subscribe, click the like, click the bell, purely from a selfish standpoint. You're gonna want to so that I can help you in the future. Let's go out there and get it, guys.